This is the Fat Tire electric mountain bike for adults. If you're thinking about picking one up, I just want to walk you through my experience. I've been using this kind of bike for real rides, not just a quick test around the block. And I think this is the kind of product where the small day-to-day details matter more than the spec sheet. The first thing I noticed is that this bike feels big and heavy right away. When I rolled it out and got my hands on it, it felt more like a small utility bike than a regular mountain bike. The fat tires give it that planted feeling, and once I started riding, that was one of the main things that stood out. It feels stable. On rough pavement, loose gravel, dirt paths, and uneven ground, it stays more settled than a lot of slimmer tire e-bikes I've tried. The motor has strong pull from a stop. I could feel that pretty much right away. If I'm starting at a light or going up a hill, it doesn't feel weak or delayed. It moves with less effort than a standard commuter e-bike I used before. That was helpful for me because I've ridden some electric bikes that sound decent on paper, but once you actually hit an incline, they struggle. This one felt more confident on hills, especially with pedal assist on the lower gears. I also liked that I didn't have to fight the bike on rougher routes. The wide tires do a lot of the work. I noticed that tire pressure makes a big difference. When I kept the pressure lower, the ride felt softer on dirt and broken surfaces. When I pumped them up more for regular road riding, it rolled better and didn't feel as draggy. That sounds obvious, but with fat tires, it really changes the ride. The battery setup was convenient for me. I prefer removable batteries, and this one made daily charging easier. I could bring the battery inside instead of moving the whole bike near an outlet. That matters because this is not a light bike. If you live upstairs or need to carry your bike often, I would seriously think about that before buying. Riding it is easy, lifting it is not. Setup was pretty manageable. Mine came mostly assembled, so I didn't have to do much beyond the usual things like the handlebars, pedals, and checking bolts. I do want to mention that I spent extra time tightening everything before riding, and I'm glad I did. After some use, I noticed a few small parts, like the fenders can start making noise if they're a little loose. It wasn't a huge problem, but it's worth checking early. In daily use, the comfort was better than I expected for a bike in this style. The seat has enough cushion for longer rides, and the riding position felt relaxed enough that I didn't feel cramped. I've used lighter e-bikes that are easier to move around by hand, but they also feel twitchier on rough ground. This one trades some agility for comfort and stability. For me, that made sense because I wasn't buying it to carry upstairs or weave through tight spaces all day. I wanted something that felt secure and easy to ride over mixed surfaces. The gear system did the job well enough for normal riding. I mostly used pedal assist and let the motor take a lot of the strain. But it still helped having multiple gears when I wanted to manage effort on hills or conserve battery a bit. The display was also easy to read. I didn't have to guess what assist level I was on, and I could keep an eye on speed and battery without any confusion. One thing I was watching closely was braking. On a heavier bike like this, that really matters. The brakes were fine for normal use, but I did notice they needed some adjustment after riding more. They didn't feel terrible, but they also didn't feel especially sharp right out of the box. After some wear-in and minor adjustment, they felt better. I still think this is one of the parts people should pay attention to, especially if they plan to ride fast or carry extra weight. Battery range is always one of those questions people worry about, and I was the same way. In my use, range depended a lot on how I rode. If I used more throttle, rode faster, or took on more hills, the battery dropped quicker. If I stayed reasonable with assist levels and actually pedaled, I could stretch it a lot more. That's pretty normal for e-bikes, but I think some people expect one fixed number, and real use just doesn't work like that. Compared to some smaller folding e-bikes and lighter commuter models I've used, this one feels more solid and more capable on bad surfaces, but less convenient when you're off the bike. That's really the trade-off. If I just needed something for smooth bike lanes and short city rides, I probably wouldn't pick a heavy, fat tire model. But if I wanted one bike for pavement, gravel, dirt paths, and occasional rough areas, this kind of setup makes more sense. I also think this is better for someone who has a place to store it without needing to haul it around. Ground floor storage, garage storage, or a simple roll-in spot makes a big difference. If your routine involves carrying your bike into an apartment every day, this could get old fast. As for who I think this is actually good for, I'd say it fits someone who wants a comfortable electric bike with a stable ride, strong help on hills, and the ability to handle more than just smooth roads. It also makes sense for riders who like the more planted feel of fat tires and don't mind the extra weight that comes with that. If you want something light, quick to carry, and easy to tuck into small spaces, I'd look at a different style. My honest downside is the weight, and right behind that, the little maintenance stuff. I had to keep an eye on bolt tightness, brake adjustment, and small rattles. None of that ruined the experience for me, but it's part of owning a bike like this. It's not the kind of thing I would describe as low effort in every way. It's easy to ride, but it still needs attention. Still, for actual riding, I had a good experience with it. It felt comfortable, stable, and useful in the kinds of conditions where thinner tires usually feel less forgiving. I think that's the real reason to get one of these. I'll leave the details about the fat tire electric mountain bike for adults in the comments for you to check out. See you in the next video.